Hi friends and families, Miss Amanda here. I have an art project that you can do to make an egg because soon we're going to be doing all kinds of spring activities, and my favorite thing about spring is coloring eggs. Now I have a couple things that you can use for your paper and your paint depending on what you have at home. I don't want you going anywhere right now to get art stuff. You can use what you have at home. For the paper, I just have a scrap piece of paper, a notebook piece of paper, or you could use like a printer piece of paper. And I also have some tin foil. This is something that we use for an art project, but it was still clean, so I thought might as well reuse it. And for paint, I have three options that you could use, and you could pick the one that's easiest for you. But first, we'll do the paper. So I am going to have you cut out the egg. For each age, it's going to look a little different. For toddlers, that might mean hand over hand. Parents, you help them open and shut the scissors and move the paper. 3-year-olds to early preschoolers, I would draw out the egg or the oval shape and have them cut around it. Now this is my freehand, it doesn't have to be perfect. And for the older preschoolers, the older 4s and 5s, I would have them just free cut. Try their best to cut an oval without any line. When you are having your child cut, their thumb goes in the small hole and their fingers go in the big hole. And we have a song we sing in preschool. Open, shut them, open, shut them, give a little snip. I'm getting to a corner, so I'm going to move my paper and not my scissors, because if I move my scissors, my elbow comes up, and I want my elbow to stay by my side. Open, shut them, open, shut them. I move so my helper hand is at the bottom. That helps me have a little more control of the paper. Open, shut them, open, shut them, give a little snip. Here is my oval, my egg shape. And you can do the same thing with your tin foil. You can have your child cut around the tin foil, or you could draw them a pattern or help them hand over hand. For the paints, I have 3 different options, and you could use whichever one works best for you. The first one that I have is just normal craft paint, washable tempera. If you have this at home and would like to use a paintbrush or a Q-tip to make some dots or lines, I like Q-tips because you can get a little bit more detail. This goes the same for the tin foil. I didn't cut out my egg on my tin foil, but you can use your paint on your tin foil as well. The paint works the best on the tin foil. Another option I have for you are watercolor. Now preschool has the big ones. I bet that if you have watercolor at home, you have the smaller ones. That's okay. But parents, a little trick for those younger toddlers and 3-year-olds is Q-tips, one in each color. The hardest part of watercolor is dipping the paint in the water, getting all of that paint off, and then switching colors. I just want to paint with all the colors. So this helps with that. I just have them pretty wet, and then I just have one Q-tip for each color, making it easier to go back and forth between colors without having to worry about those colors mixing. The watercolor works best on my paper. And the last thing I have, if you don't have any paints at home, that's okay, but maybe you like doing some baking. So I have some food coloring mixed with just a little bit of water and that will show up like paint, especially when you use a Q-tip like this. Those are some different options that you could use to make a fun spring craft. And you can use whatever you have at home. I hope you enjoyed this activity. See you later, alligator.